Hey vets, one of the easiest ways to increase your overall VA rating is through secondary claims, but only if you do it the right way. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly how to file a secondary claim, common mistakes to avoid, and give you real examples that actually work. And I even have a free list that I put together through some research, a 5-page document for common secondary conditions. I'll give that to you. Just comment secondary in the comment section below and I'll make sure you get a link to it. So let's jump into what is a secondary condition. You know, we all know that there's conditions out there and I guess the easiest way to explain it is there's direct service-connected conditions and there's secondary service-connected conditions. Direct obviously is something that happened in the military, either an illness or an injury or some sort of event that you can connect your current disability to. Well, secondary condition is kind of how it sounds. It's a condition that you can connect to another connected condition. So let's say that you had a knee injury that was service connected, and now you're starting to have back pain because you've been limping so much. That's an example of a secondary condition. And so basically a secondary condition is something that wouldn't exist if the primary condition didn't exist. And the VA allows these to be claimed, but you just need to link them correctly. And we're gonna talk about that in this video. Before I move forward and start talking about all the key things that you need to do to get these secondary conditions and hopefully increase your overall VA rating, I am gonna ask you to subscribe for me. It helps me grow the channel and it keeps me motivated to continue doing these videos. So hit the subscribe button, please. All right, now we're gonna jump into the easy part, and it's how to file a secondary claim. It's really the same as filing for a direct service-connected condition. You're basically gonna gather all your paperwork and go online if you do it online. Otherwise, you can send it in by mail. I suggest doing it online. If you can't do it online, I would just go to a VSO. It'd be much easier. You're going to list the secondary condition that you're claiming as the primary one. Just list it in there. It'll ask you what disability are you claiming for, list that one in there. And then you'll get a screen that'll pop up. It'll be 4 different options. I think the second option says my disability was caused by another service-connected disability, and then it'll prompt you to write down which one it was connected to. So that's really as easy as it is, and it shouldn't be too difficult. It's pretty self-explanatory once you get in there. Now that we talked about how to do it and what a secondary condition is, I want to talk about some examples. And this is really where I'm going to tell you that I have a 5-page document. I did some research, and it's basically just common, secondary conditions. So if you comment down below secondary, I'll send this to you. It's free, like I said. It's not going to cost you anything. I put it together, but just some common ones. Obviously we know that tinnitus causes sleep disturbances, anxiety, depression. It could even cause headaches and migraines. Anything in your body that hurts, orthopedic conditions can cause some other orthopedic condition to hurt or to start having problems. Some common ones for back pain or a back strain might be radiculopathy, and that's basically affecting the nerves going down your limbs. So, if you have back pain, it could go down your legs. If you have neck pain, it could go down your arms. And this is really a big one. And this can really increase your overall rating. And honestly, this one's actually an easy one to file for if you have it, because the doctor will typically ask you about, pain going through your limbs when you're going in there for back pain and neck pain. So keep an eye out for that one. Knee or hip pain can be a secondary to back pain. You can even have mental illnesses connected to back pain or any chronic pain. So there's a whole bunch of them there. Thinking about feet and just different things that can cause. Those are some of the common conditions that you should consider. And getting this worksheet might help you brainstorm some ideas on things that you've missed or things that you didn't think about. Because these are complicated, complex claims. So you really got to do some brainstorming and think about it. And a VSO can also be very helpful in coming up with a strategy for secondary claims to increase your overall VA rating. Now that we talked about how to do this and what they are, and just some common ones. Let's jump in and talk about like the secret ingredient. What makes these things so complicated? Because they are, right? They need a different component. They still need the Nexus to service, okay? And sometimes it's not very apparent in a secondary condition. So a Nexus letter is very important when you're claiming a secondary condition. Now, when I say Nexus letter, I don't always mean going out and paying for a Nexus letter. I don't mean, finding one of these Nexus letter doctors to write it. You can get this done with a personal doctor, and you can get it done in your medical notes, but it's just got to have certain information that will be very clear to the VA that these conditions are connected. Now, I do have a bunch of information on my website about Nexus letters and just like what the VA expects, and I'll briefly go over it here. But if you go on informedveteran.com, and I'll link to it in the description box below, just look for the education section, and there's a bunch of research that I've done and written it up on what the VA considers, what language they're looking for and things like that. Just things that'll help you kind of figure this out. But essentially, if you're having your doctor write a Nexus letter, you want to make sure that they do a couple different things. Number one, they want to document that they're a doctor, that they've had education, training, and experience, and they meet the criteria that the VA requires for a medical professional to be writing an opinion about this. You want to make sure that they write down, and you want to make sure that they review your medical records, and they know about your other service-connected condition, and they want to be able to articulate that. They want to explain it. They want to write their rationale, why they think disability A caused disability B, and it wants to be clear. It wants to be their medical opinion, and it wants to be, and they want it to make sense. They also want them to quantify what it is that they think, like what is the to what extent. The VA uses language, or a lot of these Nexus letters use language such as likely, at least as likely as not, more likely than not, and least as likely as not. So the VA uses the benefit of the doubt doctrine when they're proving these, which is really good for veterans, because if a doctor basically says that this condition caused this condition at 50% likely chance that it did that, then the veteran wins that, right? Like that's equal. So the veteran wins that argument. The veteran, gets that condition service connected. If they say it was greater than 51%, then of course they win. But if it was less than likely 49%, then the veteran does not win that. So I think a lot of mistakes in doctors writing, like personal doctors writing Nexus letters, instead of going to a doctor that has experience doing this, I think a lot of times they don't quantify, and that's that doesn't help the VA, and that doesn't help you. And as you know, these claims can take a while to approve or deny, and getting a denial, just because they forgot to quantify it, doesn't look good. So, and it takes time. So make sure that those are in there. Like I said, if you go to informedveteran.com and you look up education, you find the Nexus letters section. There's a lot. All this stuff is in there for you. If you don't have a private doctor or personal doctor that will write this for you, and you decided that you have to go out and find a doctor that charges but knows what they're doing and has done a lot of these, I have a whole directory of doctors that will write these Nexus letters for you. Then they'll review your stuff and make sure you're good to go, and they'll write it for you. But that is available for you, and that's free for you as well. The doctors do charge, but you can access that on my website free of charge, no problem. So listen, if this information helps you out, like I said, I'm trying to build up the subscriber base. Hit the subscribe button for me, hit the like button, ask questions in the comment section below. I just want to help you out with answering questions in the best way that I can. I will recommend another video here in the comment section, but it's this one letter can change your whole VA claim, and it's about Nexus letters. So if you're interested in that, before you start taking the attorney route to move up on there and pay for that, check out that video. That one might help you out. So, good luck, and we'll see you on the next video.